Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's video we will be unboxing and taking a look at some particularly interesting industrial hardware. As always with my newly arrived components, I like to do a little dosbench just to verify the integrity of those components. So let us dig into this box of goodies. Well then guys, I've been quite looking forward to this box arriving because of what is contained within it. And we have an IEI PSC-486VGA version C single board computer. It has an AMD 486 DX4-S 100MHz CPU installed and 32MB of RAM. It also comes with a flat panel connection cable and a Planar EL640.350-D4, which produces a resolution of 640 by 350 and is a monochrome electroluminescent amber display, which is very interesting. It is a 10-inch display, has a contrast ratio typically of around 100:1 and has a viewing angle of almost 180 degrees both horizontally and vertically. The input interface is parallel and it has an onboard controller with simple command set. EL displays are known for their robustness and long lifespan. They are relatively thin and lightweight and suitable to be used in harsh environments. The typical applications are industrial equipment, military and avionics, medical instruments, and portable devices requiring a durable display. Let us then cover some of the stats on this single board computer. Released in 1996 and has 3 SIM slots with support for up to 96MB of EDO memory, and standard DRAM is supported. Its secondary cache memory supports 128K, 256K or 512K, with support for Intel 486SX, DX, DX2 and DX4 CPUs, or a Cyrix 5x86 CPU. It has an M1489 and an M1487 ALI chipset. We have a PC104 expansion bus, a Dallas DS12887 battery, and a quartz oscillator with a 128-byte CMOS memory, powered by a lithium battery for over 10 years of data retention. The VGA controller is a Cirrus Logic GD54M30 with 1MB of video memory. And on the back of the card we have our standard PS2 connector, serial connector and VGA connector. And finally, not forgetting the onboard integrated IDE controller and floppy disk controller. Designed for industrial and embedded applications, this SBC integrates a 486 class processor, VGA graphics and several in-out interfaces, making it a versatile solution for legacy systems or applications that require rugged and reliable computing power. Now onto what I would consider probably to be the most interesting components that I now have in my collection. The Planar EL640.350-D4, a 10-inch amber plasma display. I would like to give a big shout out to Peter from the channel CPU Galaxy. If you've not paid a visit to his channel, please do so. He has some really cool, interesting and rare items on his channel, he has also tested one of these amber plasma displays. Similar to this one I have here, only the display that he was testing was an EL640.350-D4, but essentially the same type of display. What is rather beautiful about this display is that it will connect to any feature connector on any VGA graphics card. I'm just using a Voodoo Banshee here to give you an example. Unfortunately, we will not be using the Voodoo Banshee in our testing, as the single board computer already has a feature connector integrated onto the board, and obviously the backplane does not have an AGP slot. So we will just pop this connector on here and we should be good to go for a test run. Moment of truth, guys, moment of truth. Let's give her some juice. And would you look at that? Glorious. Works an absolute treat. So we will just apply a disk drive now to the single board computer and we'll do some DOS benching. First up, we'll do our DOS bench on the standard LCD screen first, and then we'll take a look at how it looks on the amber plasma display. PC player in 320x200, we get a score of 13.6 frames per second. PC player in 640x480, and we are getting a score of just 5 frames per second. Doom times 2134 gametics in 2319 realtics, which is roughly 32.2 frames per second. I could have only imagined getting 32 frames per second on my 486 back in the day. Quake scores 9.3 frames per second in 640 by 480, which is not the best score ever. Typically, a 486 DX4 100MHz CPU running Quake in 640 by 480 resolution would achieve a frame rate of around 10 to 15 frames per second on average, so we are just a smidge below that marker. Let's see if we can get a little bit more performance by lowering the resolution to 360 by 480. The 486 DX4 100MHz is a capable CPU for its time, but Quake is a demanding game, especially in higher resolutions like 640 by 480. The performance would significantly depend on the graphics card. A VLB or PCI graphics card with good DOS drivers could slightly improve performance. Obviously, having enough RAM, 16MB or more, helps, although the CPU is the primary bottleneck in this scenario. So initially it appears that this is running worse in this lower resolution, but I'm sure we will soon find out. So the answer to the question, does Quake run better on a 486 in a lower resolution? In these circumstances, no. We lost 5 frames per second just reducing the resolution, which is a little bit strange, and I can't really explain why. Let's finish off now then with having a look at Speedsys. Processor is showing correctly as an AMD Am486 DX4 with write back at 100 MHz with the code name P24C. 32 MB of memory with a bandwidth of 70.50 MB per second. The Cirrus Logic GD5430 with 1024 KB of video memory and a bandwidth of 7167 KB per second. The BIOS is an Award Modular BIOS version 4.50G dated 16th of the 1st, 1996. And just below it we can see ATC/BIOS year 2000 bug, 31st of the 12th 1999 to the 1st of the 1st 1900, so it would appear that this SBC would be subjected to that Millennium bug. The processor score of 37.29 just behind the AMX586-133, and the results of the memory timings are as follows. The 8KB data cache level 1 scores 78.07 MB per second. The 256KB data cache level 2 scores 27.63 MB per second, and the memory throughput is 20.47 MB per second. If we were 28 years into the past, this machine would have run rings around my system at that time. It wouldn't have even have broken a sweat. Now then, let's repeat that same process but on this lovely amber plasma display. So far it's looking good, aside from the failed CMOS battery. Ah well, now that is a problem. A slight cropping issue here in DOS. It could well be because the display is 640x350, and I am not quite sure how you would address that situation in DOS, but for now we will just continue because I want to see what it looks like playing some games. That's just so cool. I love it. I have had a little look online at the prices of these displays, and they are just astronomical if I'm honest with you. Luckily for me, I paid barely a fraction of the price for the SBC and the display. The question to you guys now is, what would you do with this screen? Do I mount it onto the side of a case maybe? Or maybe install it into the front drive bay? Let me know what you guys think, I'm always interested in your thoughts. Thanks so much for your support and for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed exploring these lovely industrial computer components, and until the next video, do take care, and I'll see you soon.